Nigeria has an Igbo problem. There is a secret memo in government that whenever we want to take charge in this country, be careful of the Igbo. Don't give them position. Don't give them opportunity. Otherwise, they will over. For an Igbo man to survive in Nigeria, as it is currently put together, Nigeria must break. Even our parents, wow, tell us, Igbo.
Is it true that Tinubu hates Igbos, including Peter Obi, Nnamdi Kanu, landmark owner, and other prominent Igbo leaders and business owners? Hello and what's up, guys? So there is this interview of Omoyele Sowore on Voice of the People's platform that I came across. In that interview, he speaks about Peter Obi's attack by the APC, why Igbos are hated in Nigeria, why Nnamdi Kanu is held perpetually, while Boko Haram terrorists are rehabilitated and given amnesty. He also sheds more light on the real truth behind the demolition of landmark beach Lekki. He talks about the Oba of Lagos comment against Igbos, stating that if they don't vote for Ambode, they should be thrown into the lagoon, among other things. Well, threatening to throw people into a lagoon for not voting for your chosen candidate was really inappropriate. It shows genuine hatred toward another ethnicity. Another thing is that the demolition of landmark resort in Lekki, Lagos, without any form of compensation, and then not using that route for the proposed Lagos-to-Calabar coastal highway is totally wrong. Yes, I heard there are submarine cables along that coastline, leading to a diversion to avoid disrupting internet connectivity. But why destroy someone's business, a business that contributes billions to Lagos state tourism sector? Why? Was it demolished as Sowore suggested due to anti-igbo sentiment? Guys, I will let you watch this video for yourself so you can see exactly what I am talking about. Also, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. Take a look, guys, and remember to share your thoughts after watching.
We were issued a 7-day notice. I mean, to be fair, it probably took another 2 or 3 months before it came.
So there was no meeting?
Till today, nobody picked up the phone, called me, or wrote to me personally and said, here's the issue you have, here's what's going to happen. But that site we bought in 2006, 18 years ago, and we paid $17 million in 2006. We borrowed $30 million to develop that beach. The pain and the hurt is that we spent $30 million developing the infrastructure on that beach. But you know, the biggest tragedy of this were the businesses that were affected by the losses of revenue. We had a beach hotel and people were sleeping in the hotel when the demolition started. We didn't have time to take the fridges from the rooms, the TVs from the walls, the mattresses from the beds, the pictures on the walls. We didn't have time to take the plates from the kitchen. There were guests in the pool. There were over 160,000 members on the beach. And someone has decided, or a set of people have decided, that a road infrastructure project is more important than socio-economic activity along that 700-kilometer coastline. Look, unfortunately, I was the first kilometer.
Were you compensated for this?
Not a penny. Till date, we haven't been compensated.
Is there a promise?
Nobody has written to me and promised.
So let's speak to the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. There were accusations by the owner of Landmark, for instance, that he was not given adequate information before the demolition and he hasn't been compensated a dime since then till now. And then the road, as the construction as we speak, is about abandoned because it's in court. The SDP presidential candidate, Doherty, governorship candidate, beg your pardon, Funsho Doherty took the federal government to court on that issue, is in court. What do you think? How do you think this case is eventually going to end?
No, let me tell you. Before they brought the Calabar
Coastal
Lagos Highway, they've had issue with the landmark owner.
Oh wow! Why?
Yes, because he's been trying to expand there, and he wanted a piece of land between where he does conference and a hotel.
Okay.
They claim it was owned by the Lagos State Water Corporation. They will never give him because they have always said it, and this is information that is known within their circle, that they will never allow an Igbo man to expand in that place.
Oh, whoa. So you think this is about where?
That's where it started.
Okay.
So the guy himself knew in advance that they don't want him to expand in that place. It's a well-known fact. And when this opportunity came for the coastal highway, they didn't waste time in going after him. So all the things he was doing with Lagos State government, as we later found out, they were not on record. But they did it deliberately. They take money from him, we're processing. So
you think they were expunged from record, or they were just on record?
They just didn't put it on record. For instance, a certain part of the land projection into the Atlantic Ocean. They did not, or the lagoon, whatever part of it, they did not.
The beach area?
Yes, they did not put it in the records. They just come and say, keep going. They knew what they were doing. And guess what? When they started the demolition of the place, they then found out later that there's nowhere they need to build.
Exactly. Remember there was a question about the environmental impact assessment.
That tells you that it was pure malice as opposed to development.
So this was pure malice on
against a business person. They didn't approve of his business
because of his tribe.
Yeah, because of his ethnicity. I can say that, and because I was aware of that case. In fact, I was the one who first pushed the story about his the attack on his property, because I've been there before. I've been to Landmark several times. So if you ask him, he's been having issues with them because they won't sell that piece of land to him that would have enabled him to connect the hotel with the conference area. You can go and check it. And they claim at that time that that is the place that the West African highway was supposed to pass through, that we're not going to sell it to you. So when is that when they needed Calabar Expressway, they didn't use the place, they refused to sell to him. That they claim, because that Calabar Lagos Expressway is supposed to actually come from Senegal. It's a West African coastal highway.
Coastal highway, okay.
So it has been designed a long time ago. It wasn't a new place. But the moment the opportunity came for them to clamp down on this businessman, they used it to quickly.
Now, Mr. Sowore, what does this mean for a president who's been traveling, and as stated by Peter Obi, he spent 30% of his time in office traveling to market the country? If a business owner that is of the same origin in the country can be attacked because of his ethnic affiliation, what does it tell to the image of the country and to the people that the president has been marketing this country to?
You don't need to go far. You know how they brazenly talk about election in this country. There was a time the Oba of Lagos said the people who don't vote for Igbos, who don't vote for them, will be driven into
lagoon.
The lagoon. So what else do you want them to say? You see them on Twitter, they have handles that are dedicated to attacking other ethnicities.
So you think they're unapologetic about this?
They're not. And those handles have been linked to the Lagos State government people.
But you're a Yoruba man. Why are you saying this about your people?
I don't know why people just say that, because you're being a Yoruba person doesn't take my humanity away. But you must understand that this is not just about Landmark. There's an Igbo problem in Nigeria. That's why they're holding Nnamdi Kanu.
What's your take on
for asking
Nnamdi Kanu's
for
perpetual
Biafra.
detention?
And then we are rehabilitating Boko Haram commanders. He said 120,000 of them have surrendered with foreign currency in their hand. And you have rehabilitated them. But one guy who says, we want justice, we don't want to stay in Nigeria, you are holding him perpetually, using the judiciary or judicial, subterfuge to keep the trial. Everybody who knows what they are doing understand that it's not a judicial matter.
So Nnamdi is essentially a political prisoner.
He's a political hostage. Well, I'll call him not a political, because it may not. Whomever is in power, except me, will keep him in jail.
So do you think that Igbos generally are endangered species in Nigeria? Going back what you just narrated.
The truth, that's the truth. Nigeria did not forgive Igbos since the end of the Civil War.
What did they do?
Because they challenged the real estate of the British called Nigeria. And they didn't forgive them since then. So everything that's been done after that, we know this is the unspoken truth about the country called Nigeria, that they did not forgive Igbos for the Civil War.
The Igbos were the victims, and they have forgiven the victims. So why is it difficult for the victors to...
You are preaching to the choir.
And because he had mentioned once that, in an interview he had mentioned that the Igbos will never be president of Nigeria. That is a perpetual, narration to keep the Igbos where they are.
Yeah, so no, it's not about even the presidency. If they find an Igbo man that is malleable, that can work in their interest, they can make him president if he doesn't have any power. You can be a president of, you can be a president of Nigeria and not have the powers of the president. When they wanted to destroy the landmark, who was the minister in charge? It's not an Igbo man.
And Moka is Igbo speaking, also fighting.
It's easier for them to use an Igbo man to carry out. If it was done by a Yoruba man, the uproar would have been worse. But you find an Igbo minister of works to help you demolish Igbo businessmen. You say, can't you see them? So it's easier that way. It's manipulation. It's how Nigeria manipulate people. But I'm not saying that if he was a Yoruba minister, he cannot demolish. They will do it too. It's easy. Anybody could have done it as long as there's an agreement to do it. Because beyond just ethnicity, there's also an elite conspiracy against Nigerian people. So an average poor person is endangered. But you are likely more endangered if you have committed a generational crime against the Nigerian real estate. Owned
by being an Igbo man.
Of course, that's the truth. You know, that's why you were saying, oh, you are Yoruba man. You know, if based on what I say, they even tell me I'm not Yoruba enough. You know, but I'm of mixed heritage. There's a part of me that is Ijo.
Okay.
But we are the Ijo speaking Yorubas. We're the Yoruba speaking Ijos in Ondo State.
Okay.
So they call us Ijo Apoy.
Ilaje area?
No, it's Ilaje. So we're next to Ilaje.
Okay.
But my great-grandparents came from Yoruba side of things. But the stream that Sowore is named after is in Ijebu waterside. Because that's how they came. So, but, you know, I don't speak to people based on ethnicity. I don't define myself based on my ethnic heritage, even though I do not deny it. But because it underlies our humanity to be assigned an ethnic position before you can be respected. Are you getting my point? Or before your views can carry on, so you have to be a Yoruba man. And then it was, oh.
So we've had
Here comes one of them.
We've had Rwanda manage the same ethnic issue in their country with the Tutsi thing after years of genocide. Are you sure they managed it?
Well,
to a reasonable extent. They have to
manage it through genocide. And Nigeria
after genocide management.
So this is what you should understand.
Okay.
Nigeria also managed the Igbo problem through genocide. 4 million Igbos. So
I was coming to that.
Is that not genocide? But you know the problem I have sometimes even with some of our people is that the same people who shot and killed them are more popular in their midst than those who support their rights. The Obasanjos of this world are embraced as authentic people, but these are the people who went and used third commando to massacre Igbos. What did they name this airport after? Murtala Mohammed, one of the most notorious killers of Igbos. Buhari, they kill Igbos. Danjuma, they kill Igbos. Gowon, they kill Igbos. But they even love them more than they love those of us who are fighting. People challenge me that they hate me because I support Nnamdi Kanu, and I say so be it, because I know that I'm supporting justice, and I cannot support injustice because I want political favors from a country. If you want to keep carrying out genocide of political nature or continuation of it, you can go ahead. Keep voting for the criminals who are perpetrating it. Let the let the forest be voting for the acts because the handle is from one of them.
Okay. Yeah, I said something. I would like you to touch more on it. I mean, the Igbos were the victims. Now they are forgiving the victors. There is no place you don't find the footprints of Igbos across the length and breadth.
That's why I say you are preaching to the choir. It's not, Igbos are not only in Nigeria, they're all over the world. I went to Alabama, in the US, and the only pharmacist there is an Igbo man. Selma, Alabama. You've heard about Selma?
Yeah.
It's one of the homes of the civil rights movement, where they cross that Petra Bridge.
Exactly.
Igbo man is there. Most likely that's what you find in every community in the US. Igbos are distributed all over the world. There's this urban legend that if Igbos cannot live in a place, the place is not livable. There was a time a New York Times reporter came to Gamboru, Gala, after Boko Haram sacked the place. The only person they found there who was not a Boko Haram member was an Igbo pharmacist. So what are you doing here? He said, well, somebody has to treat them. You know, he was that courageous enough to stay there. So I'm saying all these things so that you can understand that I understand probably more consciously better than most people do. And that informs the reason I can speak categorically about the victimization of Igbo. Otherwise, it is a taboo. Politically, it is incorrect to say that Igbos are victimized by an average Nigerian.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
So let's move
Because
straight.
nobody wants to hear the truth. You know, and when you say it, if somebody's watching me and I get out of this, Sowore, what's your problem now? Leave these Igbo people alone. You understand? That is the truth. But I cannot, my conscience cannot allow me to accommodate the genocide of 3 million people, 4 million people, and then the continuation of that denunciation of the existence through persecution in which the Nigerian state is carrying out, either through landmark or Nnamdi Kanu or, you know, look, I told a story, I think it was on the Honest Punch, that in this country, there was a time they were beheading Igbos, putting their heads in calabash and putting on the trains going east.
Do you think that's what's happening in the East right now? Speaking about militarization of the East.
Pogrom, you understand? And that's why they're doing it. It's what they're doing. When we did August, what did we ask for? Demilitarization of the East and release of Nnamdi Kanu was one of our demands. But it was the most denounced demands, even by human rights people. They told us, no, don't include Kanu in your demands. Otherwise, we will not join you. Because Nigeria has been made to believe that a crime committed against Igbo doesn't fall under human rights abuse.
Okay. So let's speak about that crime against Igbo, because a popular, I think I read in your paper recently.
And unfortunately the Ohanese people said they should not join the protests, that they are negotiating with Tinubu. They even said that he will release him for Christmas gift, as if he's a Christmas goat. Yes, that's true.
All right, so speaking about this militarization of the Southeast, recently I read in your platform, a popular media mogul, one of the media platform in Lagos State, was dehumanized in the Southeast. He was traveling through Anambra State to Asaba Airport, and he was accosted. He and about 3 DSS officials were accosted by military personnel who, you know, dehumanized them, told them to lie on the floor, in fact, told them they were going to shoot at them, told them that they were IPOB. Do you think there has been accusations that most of the people killed in the Southeast in the guise of IPOB are really not IPOB?
Exactly.
That they were killed by military. Do you think that this is exactly what's happening?
These guys are burning down villages, Nigerian army. They are burning down villages. Like, if you are 17 years old in the East, you carry any kind of hairstyle and you run into a military checkpoint, you're automatically targeted. It's profiling.
Oh, wow.
You understand? But go to Katsina. Listen to this before we end this broadcast. The government in Katsina said a whole local government with tons of bandits have only 5 policemen in their area. They have only 1 vehicle, no military. But there are bandits all over the place. Why is it that banditry and terrorism in the north is treated with kid gloves, and people who are asking for what is recognized by the United Nations as self-governance, the request for self-governance, is treated as a crime against the state? But terrorism is not treated the same way in the East. I traveled in the northern part of Nigeria during the election in 2019 and also in 2023. You can drive all the way from some of the most, bandits havens.
Dangerous points.
Dangerous points. And there will be no policeman or army on the way.
Okay.
But you cannot travel in the East today. Is 1 kilometer, 1 military battalion.
Unfortunately,
that
is what it is. Before we leave, can I ask you a personal question?
Go ahead.
You have, we have spoken a lot here, and you are more like a definition of speaking truth to power. Sowore, do you fear for your life?
it's too late. You know, my life had been taken several times to the point that all I'm dedicated to is living my life one day at a time. And the reason is this. When I was leaving the university, I did not know, I left the university at the age of 24, 25. I did not know that I would make it up to 30. So I used to say at that time that I was living on borrowed times. I'm 54 now. If I died today and an autopsy is performed on me, they will find the heart of a 90-year-old man inside my body because it's been a lot. My heart has carried a lot of pain and anguish. But I've carried on, and as a result, I cannot be afraid of my shadows when people who didn't even do half of what I've done have died of preventable diseases, some malaria. So people like me are lucky. And if you look at the life expectancy of a Nigerian man, I think it's now
50 something, 56,
54.
56.
So I've lived a few months above that. I'm going to be 55 in February. I've tried.
You're not going anywhere yet. But before you go, before you start going where you want to go to, let's look at 2027. There's been lots of, chess playing here and there against 2027. And then coalition of, some people are already saying that there is no way anybody can beat Bola Ahmed Tinubu in any election, irrespective of his performance.
No, if
they don't come together. What do you think is the way forward for Nigeria?
You can beat Tinubu in an election, but you cannot beat him in this election. And that's what they are planning. They are not going to have another election.
Are you serious?
Yes, they're not.
How do you mean?
Well, let's start from here. Who conducts the election? INEC. Right? Go and find out how many federal electoral commissioners were appointed by Tinubu who are APC card-carrying members to replace the ones that are retired. Almost, infinite. Did you know that Bola Tinubu appointed 11 Supreme Court justices since he came to power? These two bodies are going to determine the winner of the next selection.